I think that what we often think about is that we do so many amazing things on the ground, but we sometimes forget to tell people that we're doing it, so it happens in a vacuum. And ultimately, the press do a really great job at being amplifiers for us. So maybe you get 100 people at your event in your community, whether it's your church or your school, but if you had your local news station cover it, you've now magnified that event to several thousand people. So it's just a really great tool for you. You're also really credible and powerful voices, and obviously the press is still somewhat considered a credible third party. So we also just think of them as another great storyteller for us, and a way to really get the facts out there as quickly as we need to. And then obviously the press are really key to attendance and to donations. To Catherine's point, I mean, it took one New York Times article to get several $1,000s in donations. It took Rick Riley's original 2006 article in Sports Illustrated to spur over 1 million donations and the launch of this campaign. So it really is the power of the written word and the ability to tell that story that could bring in potentially several $1,000s or millions of dollars for us and for the families that we're helping. And again, I just wanted to also remind you all what Aaron said this morning. You know, you are by far the most passionate and authentic voices that we have, and we're so grateful to all of you for what you've done so far and for the collective ability of you all to continue that work. You're active, you're connected in that community, you have tons of friends and family who want to help you in any way they can, whether they know about the families that we're helping in Sub-Saharan Africa, they know you and they know that they want to help you in your work as well. And you're really proof that it's working. I mean, I can't believe that it's been since 2006 and we've sent 7.5 million nets already, and there's so much more work to be done. So a quick overview of Media Landscape. I think most of you know this, but what I find so incredible is that more than 5 billion pieces of content are shared on Facebook every week. That's just incredible, and it sounds like an overwhelming statistic. There are constantly photos and videos shared, and I think more and more people are really headed towards visual content. But a couple things to note. There are 3 different types of media: earned, owned, and paid. So on the paid side, that's really for us to focus on if we want to. If we want to do advertising, if we want our local paper to hear about our event, you know, and you want to pay for an ad, that's what paid is for. Owned content is really our channels that the campaign owns. So whether it's our blog or our social media channels, the United Nations Foundation channels, like that's all owned content that we can leverage, and we can help you to share your story. And then earned, which is broadcast and print media and the folks that you know in your community, your news outlets. And those are earned stories. And obviously they make up a good portion of the outreach that you could be doing. So as you're thinking through what your story is and what you want to pitch, if you haven't done it before, if you have, these are a couple, I think, key questions to ask yourself as you're building that story. These are just helpful refreshers for those of you that haven't done it recently. But you know, what information do I have to share? Why does someone care about this? Why should they? Try to stress the local. What's their local angle? What's in it for them? Why are you communicating this story? So again, why did you get involved with the campaign? And I think that's the most compelling piece, to tell someone why you got involved. Who would be interested in it? You know, because again, you never know who is on the other end of the newspaper and reading it. So think through, you know, who are you trying to target and why should they care? And ultimately, what are the results you want from your story? So is your event still yet to happen? Or has it already happened, but really what you need people to do to read the story is not only to be really impressed by what you did, but to actually continue to donate if they weren't a part of the event that took place already. So again, here are the mega messages. I thought it might be a good time to review them and just bring them up for everyone to take a look at. Erin has gone over all of them earlier this morning, and you'll have all of them in your information, so you'll always be able to reference them. And if you lose the presentation, which I hope you don't do, you can always reach out to me and we'll make sure that you get them again. But I think these are just a helpful guide. They're really not meant to be verbatim. You don't have to be reciting them word for word, but they're really just a guide to help you in your conversations, whether it is with a member of the media or if you're on Capitol Hill tomorrow and need a quick message to go to. So a couple quick basics for media outreach for those of you who haven't, but it sounds like most of you have. Again, know your audience. So I am from a really small town. I know a lot about it, and so just thinking through who reads the paper, who watches the news, they differ. So sometimes if you go in and watch the news a couple of times, or you read the paper a couple of days, it just helps you get familiar with the way that they write or the way that they tell a story, who they're kind of talking to, whether it's younger families, whether it's older folks. It's just really helpful to get a sense for who they're talking to, and that will help you as you're developing your pitch. And as you tailor and hone it, remember that again, you're speaking to your local constituents, the people who know you, the people who you've grown up with, and really think to them. And offer assets. So if you're reaching out to a reporter, 9 times out of 10, they are so incredibly busy, and they've been working overtime, and they are not only the writer, but they are the photographer and the videographer and the editor for their paper. So if you can offer them some photos from the event, if you can offer them some video, and they don't have to send somebody to capture it and you already did it for them, they're going to be so incredibly grateful, and it just helps them to put the story together faster. And a couple other quick tips for successful pitches. We have a bunch of tools and templates that we're happy to share with you. I think we have pulled some of that together for you, whether it's media advisory templates or more pitch tips. If you ever just want to pick my brain, you can always give me a call and we can talk it through. But really feel like you can lean on the campaign to help you. If you can't find a number or an email for your local paper, we've got the team to be able to pull that for you. Again, personalize your pitch. You really want to talk about why you got involved. Local angle is so important. I could go into New York and say, hey, can you write about nothing but nets? But ultimately what New York's going to say to me is, are you from New York? Have you done something in New York? No? Okay, I don't care. Don't talk to me. And then provide some brief key details. Keep it simple, to the point. They're, again, usually pretty busy. So be creative and get some attention. All caps in a subject line is probably not the best, but use the subject line almost like how you'd want the headline to read. They really do a lot of reporters are looking for that, and I would say 9 times out of 10 they're reading their email versus answering their phone. So use that subject line. It's an opportunity to get them thinking about a story, and they might actually take the time to read through all of your details. Again, offer content, but when you follow up, if you either reach out to them by email or phone, if they're on deadline, call back, follow up. It doesn't hurt to be persistent. 9 times out of 10, they're just really busy, and they'll just be grateful that you stuck to it. So just a reminder, if you didn't already practice your pitch, if you haven't told your story yet to at least 4 or 5 people in this room, it's really important. I mean, it really helps you. How many people are absolutely afraid of talking to press? Don't be afraid. Raise your hand if you are. Yeah, I know there's a couple. I know. I used to be terrified. Oh, look at all the kids. Come on, guys. You're the best spokespeople we have. I used to be terrified to do it too, but it's not scary. They're people too. But I find practice makes perfect, and the more you do it, the less scary it is. And what does success look like? Erin kind of put up some really fun targets to have, but I just wanted to highlight some of the amazing stories we have had recently because of the work that you're doing and your ability to step up and help out. So the NPR piece on the top was for a UN Foundation Kids Give report that we launched last year at the National Press Club, and we called on Jackson Merrick to come out to the event and to step up and talk a little bit about what he'd done for the campaign. And NPR was so impressed with how amazing he was and his story and his ability to tell it in such a succinct, great way that they did an interview with him, and he had his photo on their website, and they were just absolutely thrilled, and it was a great, great target for us. So we were really, really grateful to them. We also had a great op-ed in the Huffington Post by Cooper Smith, co-written with Chris Helfrich, and unfortunately Cooper couldn't be here, but we were absolutely thrilled to have that run right around World Malaria Day, and talked a lot about our Sports for Nets challenge and how anybody can get involved in the fight against malaria. So that was another great hit. And then even the North Platte Telegraph this summer highlighted Crystal's great work with the JCI Buzz Tour, and it was just an incredible article. It talked about the issue of the campaign. It talked about how a child dies every 60 seconds, and then it also highlighted the event, and I hope got more people to come out and to donate. So we just continue to be amazed by all of the great headlines that come through the door. If you ever see something and just want to make sure that it was on my radar, you can always do that too. But I just want to say thanks again to you all for being such powerful storytellers and advocates and champions for us.